What makes the Arctic special with regard to domestication is that the animals there are not kept and controlled. What people there have to do to be able to make a living together with the animals is to know the animals in completely different ways. And instead of trying to control them, people try to live with the animals and follow the animals, and that demands a completely different way of knowing than the knowing that goes with domestication as we otherwise know it, as controlling. In this project, we've worked on several different Arctic animals, for example, salmon, or reindeer, or wolf, or dog. And what we see working with these animals in different parts of the Arctic world is that there are lots of nuances in the ways that people approach these animals. What is also interesting is how these animals and people's engagement with it is affected by the natural resource management institutions that they're governed by. Because what's special about the Arctic is that the Arctic is considered a kind of wilderness, and therefore people who live in the Arctic are controlled, and their animals are controlled to a completely different extent than people's relations with animals elsewhere. My part of this project is about working with the animals that I've worked with before, such as the salmon, but also the reindeer, and now a little bit the dog and the wolf. And I am an associate professor at the Cultural History Museum at the University of Oslo, and we're going to have an experimental exhibition there in the spring where we try to visualize and materialize our thoughts in this highly theoretical project into something that is understandable for museum audiences and different kinds of museum audiences. And in this exhibition, we want to focus on something a little bit different to what a normal Arctic exhibition in a museum is normally about, because what you normally see in an Arctic exhibition is man, the hunter. And we'd like to focus our attention on the ways that women know animals in the Arctic, and the many kinds of interspecies relationships that women have in the Arctic, how many animals that they engage in normal everyday life, in sewing, in making food, making clothes, in all their engagements with landscape and animal life. We also want to focus on the landscape itself. We try to populate this barren landscape and show that this landscape can be so many more things than this Arctic wilderness that today sells to so many tourists around the world, and to show that engagement with different animals in this landscape involves complex stories and different uses and different kinds of viewing the landscape that otherwise would be invisible.